everyone, and welcome to week 9 in our series, Believers Are Leaders. In fact, today is our final week, so you have made it well done. Let's just do a quick recap over the past 8 weeks to remind ourselves who we have learned about. So in week 1, we learned about Jesus, and we learned that to lead is to serve. In week 2, we learned about David, and we learned that no matter what our age, we are called to be leaders. Week 3, we looked at Joshua, and we saw he led by example. Week 4 was Noah, and we saw that Noah chose to do what was right, even when he was the only one. Week 5, we looked at Moses, and we learned how Moses stood up for the people who couldn't. Then week 6, we looked at Daniel, and we learned how Daniel stood up for the truth no matter what it cost him. Week 7 was all about Peter, and we learned that what made him a great leader was the fact that even after failing, he got back up again. And then last week was all about Deborah, our first female leader, and we saw that through her leadership, it was all about encouragement and support and how important that is as a godly leader. Now, today we are looking at a couple of female leaders, and we're going to see what makes them really, really special and what makes them leaders in our series. But first, let's worship.
We gotta shake it off, anything holding us back. You gotta shake it off, if it's taking us off God's track. We gotta know our mission in this kingdom. It's not like anything else. It's putting us aside, giving Him our lives, and making every day count. So you must keep watch, for you don't know what day your Lord is coming. So you must keep watch, for you don't know what day your Lord is coming. You gotta be ready, you gotta be steady, keeping your eyes on the prize. You gotta be ready, you gotta be steady, for our God is alive. We gotta shake it off, anything holding us back. We gotta shake it off, if it's taking us off God's track. We gotta know our mission in this kingdom. It's not like anything else. It's putting us aside, giving Him our lives, and making every day count. So you must keep watch, for you don't know what day your Lord is coming. So you must keep watch, for you don't know what day your Lord is coming. You gotta be ready, you gotta be steady, keeping your eyes on the prize. You gotta be ready, you gotta be steady, for our God is alive. If He says go to the left, then we go to the left. If He says go to the right, then we go to the right. If He says stop, then we stop. If He says go, then we go. If He says yes, it's a yes, and a no means a no. If He says go to the left, then we go to the left. If He says go to the right, then we go to the right. If He says stop, then we stop. If He says go, then we go. If He says yes, it's a yes, and a no means a no. So you must keep watch, for you don't know what day your Lord is coming. So you must keep watch, for you don't know what day your Lord is coming. You gotta be ready, you gotta be steady, keeping your eyes on the prize. You gotta be ready, you gotta be steady, for our God is alive. So you must keep watch, for you don't know what day your Lord is coming. So you must keep watch, for you don't know what day your Lord is coming. You gotta be ready, you gotta be steady, keeping your eyes on the prize. You gotta be ready, you gotta be steady, for our God is alive. Christ loved the church and gave Himself up for himself up for her. We are the church, we are the body of Christ. We are his hands and feet shining his light. We are the church, we are the body of Christ. We're called to his mission and we're not missing out. Listen up, we are the church. It's not a building or a place we meet. It's what we carry in our hearts. It's all who believe in Jesus Christ. Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. We are the church, we are the body of Christ. We are his hands and feet shining his light. We are the church, we are the body of Christ. We're called to his mission and we're not missing out. Hey, 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 we are the church. Gotta play our part and be what we are. We stick together, side by side, always ready, the bride of Christ. Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. We are the church, we are the body of Christ. We are his hands and feet shining his light. We are the church, we are the body of Christ. We're called to his mission and we're not missing out. We are the church. We are the church. We are the church. Ephesians 5 verse 25. We are the church. We are the church. We are the church. Ephesians 5 verse 25. We are the church. We are the church. We are the church. Ephesians 5 verse 25. We are the church. We are the church. We are the church. Ephesians 5 verse 25.
So today we are looking at some female leaders in the Bible. The main thing that I want you to take away from this series is that you don't have to be a certain type of person to be a leader. Everyone who calls themselves a child of God is a leader. This is because we are called to stand out and be different to the world. We are called to shine the light of Jesus everywhere we go and in everything that we do. We need to be the change. And that's exactly what a leader is. A leader is someone who shows others the way. A leader is someone who inspires others and encourages others. But also remember, we lead in our normal everyday lives. We lead at home, at school, at church, and this will look different for all of us, completely. But in the stories we are looking at today, you will see how these women did very different things and were just very different in general, to be honest. But the one thing they all had in common is that they were shining the light of Jesus in all that they did and everywhere they went. So let's see how they did this.
There are many incredible people in the Bible who show us what it looks like to be a godly leader. Most of these leaders we read about are men, but women also play a very important role in God's kingdom. Let's look at some of these women who were involved in business, ministry, and leading God's people. First off, we have Miriam. When the Israelites crossed the Red Sea after fleeing Egypt, Miriam was one of the first people to pick up an instrument and lead worship. In Exodus 15 verse 19 to 20 tells us this. When Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and charioteers rushed into the sea, the Lord brought the water crashing down on them. But the people of Israel had walked through the middle of the sea on dry ground. Then Miriam, the prophet, Aaron's sister, took a tambourine and led all the women as they played their tambourines and danced. But this wasn't all. In the book of Micah, we learn that Miriam was in fact a leader of the nation of Israel, along with her brothers Moses and Aaron. Second, we have Esther. There is an entire book of the Bible which tells us the story of a fearless leader. Esther risked her life to save the lives of the Jewish people. In fact, there is a festival held by the Jews each year called Purim, where they remember what Esther did for the people, their people. Esther shone her light even when it could have ended in her being killed. We also have women in the disciples. We all know the 12 male disciples of Jesus, but there were also women who followed Jesus. Luke 8 verse 1-3 tells us this. Soon afterward, Jesus began a tour of the nearby towns and villages, preaching the good news about the kingdom of God. He took his 12 disciples with him, along with some women. These women supported Jesus as he traveled and ministered. This is being a godly leader. They had sacrificed a lot to be able to serve Jesus and to give to his ministry, but it was worth it, and they counted it a privilege. Then we have Mary Magdalene. She was one of the first people to see the risen Lord. John 20 verse 11-18 tells us this. Mary was standing outside the tomb crying, and as she wept, she stopped and looked in. She saw 2 angels where the body of Jesus had been lying. "Why are you crying?" the angels asked her. "They have taken away my Lord, and I don't know where they have put him." She turned to leave and saw someone standing there. It was Jesus, but she didn't recognize him. "Dear woman, why are you crying? Who are you looking for?" She thought he was a gardener. "Sir," she said, "if you have taken him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will go and get him." "Mary," Jesus said. She turned to him and cried out, "Teacher!" We also have Lydia. When Paul arrived in Philippi, he first went to the Jews. He didn't find a synagogue or a temple, but he did find a woman praying at the river. This is where we meet a businesswoman by the name of Lydia. Acts 16 verse 13-15 tells us this. On the Sabbath, we went a little way outside the city to a riverbank, where we thought people would be meeting for prayer, and we sat down to speak with some women who had gathered there. One of them was Lydia. As she listened to us, the Lord opened her heart, and she accepted what Paul was saying. She and her household were baptized, and she asked us to be her guests. We also read later in Acts that many believers met in Lydia's home, where they would be encouraged and encourage one another. Next, we have Phoebe. This is what Paul says about her in Romans 16 verse 1-2. "I commend to you our sister Phoebe, who is a deacon in the church in Cenchrea. Welcome her in the Lord as one who is worthy and an honor among God's people. Help her in whatever she needs, for she has been helpful to many, and especially to me." Phoebe was a deacon in the church. That's a leader. Next, we have Priscilla. Priscilla was the wife of a man named Aquila. They were business owners in the city of Corinth. Acts 18 verse 24-26 tells us a bit more about them. Meanwhile, a Jew named Apollos, a great speaker who knew the scriptures well, had arrived in Ephesus. He had been taught the way of the Lord, and he taught others about Jesus. However, he knew only about John's baptism. When Priscilla and Aquila heard him preaching in the synagogue, they took him aside and explained the way of God even more accurately. This tells us that they were teachers of the word. They encouraged others by teaching them and showing them even more about Jesus and his kingdom. As you can see, there are many women in the Bible who stood up and were counted for. Their roles were all different, and they all served God's kingdom in their own way, but each was valuable and needed for growing the kingdom of God. Remember, leading is not about being a pedestal or being the person who calls the shots. Leading is about serving and giving our lives for the kingdom of God. We are called to shine our lights everywhere we go, and we need to be the hands and feet of Jesus as we share the gospel with those around us.
All right, guys, I got a question for you. If you could walk into a shop and pick any sweet you wanted, what would it be? I want you to tell your friend or 2 friends or 3 friends, tell them what you would pick, one sweet. What would it be? Your favorites. Go. Got it? Got it? All right. Some similarities, some differences. All right. We all got different tastes, different interests, different likes, different dislikes. Now, me personally, I like anything, any sweet that has chocolate in it. And so my 2 favorites would be M&M's and Smarties. And since I couldn't pick, well, I just bought them both because, well, I like them both and I'm looking forward to eating them both. Now, here's the thing. Smarties and M&M's, they're similar, all right, but there was a difference. So let's see what I mean by that. Well, so Smarties, you know, they're quite round. They're a bit kind of pastel in color, all right? Let's put them over there so we can just keep an eye on them, all right? And M&M's, chocolate M&M's. I mean, they look similar, but they're still different. And these ones have got little M's on. So you can see the Smarties are just plain, haven't got anything on them, but the M&Ms have actually got M's on them. So on the outside, they're different colors. I mean, we got red, purple, blue, brown, orange. Yeah, we got some green, some yellow. I mean, there's a whole bunch, red, blue. I mean, this is just beautiful in my hand right now. And so they're quite different in terms of their colors, their sizes. But one thing that is the same about Smarties and M&M is the chocolate inside of them. So for today, I want you to imagine that you, me, we're like Smarties and M&Ms, all right? We're all different. We've got different, things that we like, different things that we do. We're all different. We're all unique. God's made us differently, and He uses these differences to build His kingdom. You see, some of you out there might be really loud and very extroverted, whereas others of you might be more quiet and more on the shy side. Bad thing, we're just different. Maybe some of you enjoy talking to large groups of people, whereas others of you prefer talking to more like one-on-one kind of thing. Maybe you're like super organized, or maybe you're like more of a scatterbrain, all right? Maybe you're more into sports, or maybe you're more, cultural, into the arts and drama, okay? But here's the thing. Just like these M&Ms and Smarties are all different because of their colors and the writing on them, okay? But there's that same thing in them, the chocolate. And so for all of us guys, that same thing between all of us, no matter how different we are, is our mission. And our mission, no matter who we are, no matter what we look like, what we do, what we're good at, what we're not good at, is to shine the light of Jesus in all that we do. Now, maybe you're not sure how you use your gifts and your talents to shine the light of Jesus. Well, I'm just going to make it very simple, is we need to ask the Holy Spirit to guide us, to show us how we can use our gifts to shine the light of Jesus. If we look at our leaders in our story today, we look at Miriam. Now Miriam, she was good with music and musical instruments, and so she used her gift to lead worship. Then we learned about the businesswoman, and we see how she used her finances because she's really good at making money. She used her finances to support Jesus as he traveled, to buy him food, to buy him clothes, whatever he needed. So she used her gift of business and making money to support Jesus in his mission. Then we had Priscilla, and her gift was to teach other people. And what she did is she would encourage people to keep teaching other people. So she would teach people how to teach people. And so we can see about today's stories that we're all different, but that God uses those differences to build his kingdom. And so at the end of the day, we're different. Our gifts are different, but our mission is the same. The chocolate in the center, that's the same. Our mission is to shine the light of Jesus. And as believers, we are leaders. And we've learned that leaders serve and leaders shine the light of Jesus. So let's just do a double check here to make sure that what I'm saying is true. So Smartie versus M&M. Chocolate. And chocolate. And they both taste amazing. Well, guys, it has come to that part of the morning where we need to see if you can remember our memory verse for this series. Now, it is week 9, so by now I really hope that you know it. So before I give you any clue, I'm going to count you down and I want you to shout it out as loud as you can. Now, this one is super simple. It's super short, so you should be able to shout it out maybe even all together if we're lucky. Are you ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Getting it? Yes, okay, who got it? If you think you knew it, put your hand up. Okay, if you're still there half asleep, it's all right. I got a clue for you, but this clue is going to really rack your brain. So I'm going to put the memory verse up, all right? But I'm going to put every word spelt backwards. And you're not going to get much time, like 20 seconds tops, to read these words and kind of read them back to front, if that makes sense. So I'm going to pop it up on the screen, 20 seconds, and then we'll come back. Are you ready? Here it goes. 3, 2, 1. See if you can get it. And so, did you get it? I'm sure you did. Well, let's say it all together one last time. How about you actually all stand to your feet as we do that? Then we're ready for our song and dance. And it is found in Philippians 4 verse 13. And it says, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. One more time. Philippians 4 verse 13. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Let's go.
through Him who strengthens me. It's not about me, it's all about our King. To give Him glory, to give our lives to Him. Philippians 4 verse 13 says it all. It's not in our strength, no, 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 not at all. He's given us courage, and all we'll ever need is be the light and shine for all to see. Philippians 4 verse 13 says it all. It's not in our strength, no, 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 not at all. He's given us courage, and all we'll ever need is be the light and shine for all to see. So stand up, stand out and be counted. Stand up, stand out and be brave. Stand out for His kingdom. Stand out for His name. So stand out and be counted. Stand out and be brave. Stand out for His kingdom. Stand out for His name. I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. It's not about me, it's all about our King. To give Him glory, to give our lives to Him. Philippians 4 verse 13 says it all. It's not in our strength, no, 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 not at all. He's given us courage, and all we'll ever need is be the light and shine for all to see. Philippians 4 verse 13 says it all. It's not in our strength, no, 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 not at all. He's given us courage, and all we'll ever need is be the light and shine for all to see. So stand out and be counted. Stand out and be brave. Stand out for His kingdom. Stand out for His name. So stand out and be counted. Stand out and be brave. Stand out for His kingdom. Stand out for His name.
So, as believers and leaders, we all have something unique and special to bring to God's kingdom. You see, the mission is the same. The mission is to see the lost saved and to preach about Jesus. But how that looks for each of us individually, well, that's where it looks a bit different. The way that we lead, the way that we serve, the way that we shine our lights, all have the same purpose, and that's to glorify Jesus. But how we do it often looks different. And that's often because of, well, how God made us as people, that we all have different skills, different talents. Some of us are louder, some of us are more quieter, some of us are more sporty, some are more academic. And so God uses how He made us to shine His light and to be on mission. And so what I'm going to do today, guys, is I'm going to pray for us that the Holy Spirit would guide us and show us how we can use what we have to really be leaders in God's kingdom, to really stand up, to stand out, and to be people who can be counted, that we're actually doing something for God's kingdom. So let's pray. Jesus, I thank you that you have shown us so many examples in your Bible of believers who are leaders, and they're all so different, Lord, but we can learn something from each of them. And Lord, I ask that your Holy Spirit would guide us, your Holy Spirit would show us where we fit in and how we can use the gifts that you've given us. That the way you have designed us, God, it's perfect and it needs to be a part of your kingdom. And so, Father, I ask that you would show us how we personally can be on mission, how we can be leaders in the space that we find ourselves in, that we can truly be believers who are leaders and who are counted for. In your precious name, amen. Let's worship.
I stand before you now. The greatness of your renown. I have heard of the majesty and wonder of you, King of heaven. In humility I bow. As your love, wave after wave, crashes over me, crashes over me. For you are for us, you are not against us. Champion of heaven, you made a way for all to enter in. I've heard you calling my name. I've heard the song of love that you sing. Whoa, so I will let you call me out beyond the shore into your grace. Oh, your grace. As your love, wave after wave, crashes over me, crashes over me. For you are for us, you are not against us. Champion of heaven, you made a way for all to enter in. You make me brave, you make me brave. You call me out beyond the shore into the waves. You make me brave, you make me brave. You call me out beyond the shore into the waves. You make me brave, you make me brave. No fear can deny the promises you made. You make me brave, you make me brave. No fear can deny the love that made a way. As your love, and wave after wave, crashes over me, crashes over me. For you are for us, you are not against us. Champion of heaven, you made a way. As your love, wave after wave, crashes over me, crashes over me. For you are for us, you are not against us. Champion of heaven, you made a way. Champion of heaven, you made a way for all to enter in.
Maybe you here today and you hearing about this mission of Jesus Christ, which is the most important mission of sharing the gospel, of sharing the good news to everyone, people in your school, people in the shopping malls, your friends, your family, and understanding that in order to be able to share this good news of who Jesus is and what he has done, is that we need to have him living in our hearts. We need to accept him for what he has done on the cross, dying on the cross for our sins so that we can live. And maybe you're here today and you haven't yet made that decision, the best decision of your life, of accepting Jesus into your heart as Lord and Savior. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to do so. And I would love that if you could maybe speak to a leader or speak to your parents or speak to an older brother or sister who has an understanding of who Jesus is and what he did on the cross for you, so that you can say the prayer, so that you can mean it in your heart, and that you will be a part of this team and you can go and spread this mission of Jesus everywhere.
Well, guys, that is a wrap of week 9. In fact, that is a wrap of our entire series, Believers Are Leaders. Now, today specifically, we learned about a couple women who were all seen as leaders, but we could also see how they were all completely different, but they used what they had to be a leader and to shine the light of Jesus. And so you see, guys, as children of God, we're leaders in a different way. We're not going to look like the worldly leaders and be people who want to just benefit ourselves and get to the next level and have power and be more popular or be cool, because that's not what a godly leader is all about. No, a godly leader is someone who serves. It's someone who puts others first. It's someone who encourages others. It's someone who stands for the truth no matter what. It's someone who shines the light of Jesus and is actually the example for others to follow. That's what it looks like to be a godly leader. And so for all of us, for all of you watching, is to remember that you are a leader. If you believe in Jesus, well, then you are a leader. And you might not think of yourself as a typical leader, but as a child of God, you are a leader and you are someone that God wants to use in his kingdom. So be encouraged and be the leader that God has called you to be. Well, guys, that is all from us for this series. We will see you next week as we kick off a brand new series. We'll see you there.
What's up, everyone? So we are going to be doing the Sunday Fun Day Challenge, and we have been speaking about how we are all unique. So we are going to be trying out unique challenges. Okay, number 1, you are going to try do the splits. Okay, so let's see who of you are flexible. I'm going to try to do the splits. I'm going to go this way with my right leg in front. Let's try. You start going down, 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 and all the way. Voila! See if you can do it. Try make sure your feet are pointed if you can. But yeah, there's the splits. Cool. Challenge number 2. While I'm down here, I'm going to do a break dancing stunt. Okay, so this one, you're sort of going to get on your one knee. Other knee's going to be up. You take your elbow, join it with the knee. Take the other elbow, join it with the hip. Put your hands out. You're going to put it down. Put your head down and freeze. There we go. You can switch your feet like that. That's another challenge. The next one, I'm going to try with the pillow. So here's my pillow. You can get a pillow or a soccer ball, and you're going to try spin it on your finger. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try. So put it on your finger, and then you spin it. Whoa, check that. Okay, sort of worked. And then the next one we're going to try is a back bend. Okay, so make sure your back is nice and stretched and warmed up. You're going to stand ready. Slowly, you're going to go backwards. So we go. Boom, and you do a back bend. I'm gonna try flip over. Boom. There's that challenge. And the last one we're gonna do for today is a headstand. So this one, you can find a spot on the floor. You're gonna make a triangle with your hands like this. And you put your head at the top point of the triangle. Then you're gonna try balance. Make sure you're pulling your tummy muscles. Let's try it out. Here's my triangle. There we go. Balance. Legs up. You can switch it around. Woo. Whatever. And there we go. Those are our challenges. Hope you guys can try it out. Find some friends. Be safe and enjoy it.